the education sector. And I'm hoping that on this, that we can all stand up as a country, because a country's best investment should be on the education of its children, either in schools or colleges. But the education system in this country is crumbling down. Like we can just see it's crumbling down. Because I first mentioned the university funding model. This is something that I've followed up with a lot of passion. I even wrote concept papers and did petitions, even to the president himself, to consider. It's not just a change. You don't just come and change, but you have to consider what exactly are we looking at when we look at the funding model. So the university funding model has a system where it looks at how are you going to be funded and who should be funded. A lot of students have been locked out of necessary funding simply because the system of gauging who should be funded or who should not be funded has failed. And those are some of the things we need to look at even as we consider matters education. And that is why even KUCCPS, the body that enrolls students in universities, came out and said a large number of students who passed highly in the KCSE last year did not apply to universities. And when they went out to ask for views from them, some of them said that university education is very expensive. So they feel like, why would I apply to go to university and then I go there and start struggling? Education is the most important as of now, where if we don't put enough investment in the education of our country, it's crumbling down and it's going to go down in heads. For example, the president called teachers at State House recently. I followed up on the meeting at State House and I was just saying, so what's going on? Because other than teachers going there to present real issues of the schools where they teach, of even if they're not teachers teaching in schools, but they are educators, so they know what's happening in schools right now. They went there as a political, it looked like a political something organized for teachers so that they can get, and I had one of the unionists, standing up and saying, one term forever, even without saying anything important to touch on teachers. Kelo Missouri stood up to speak about a very important issue that's eating our junior secondary schools right now. The rift between JSS teachers and heads of institution in primary schools. They all heckled without even having to think about what exactly was he trying to say. Because if they went to talk about issues affecting teachers, I believe that should have been a platform to talk about all teachers. Because this country right now has a lot of JSS teachers who look like they're lesser of teachers. And those are issues that should be discussed because it's affecting even delivery in those junior secondary schools. And what do we do about it? If we don't come up to speak about it, it means that we have accepted the systems to continue. Education is a very important issue in this country, which we should talk about. For example, JSS junior secondary schools are not adequately funded. There are no resources. I have taught in some of those JSS schools, and I can tell you for sure, a teacher is told, with the help of a digital device, the teacher has a katululu, a small phone, that cannot even access internet. The schools do not have internet. In most of these public primary schools, one classroom has 100 learners, one teacher. Some of the teachers are handling subjects that they don't even have an idea about. For example, I'm a teacher of English. Then I go to a school I'm not yet employed by the government. I still work under NGOs. But I am teaching English. When I go to a school, I'm given pre-technical studies, or let me say mathematics, to teach because there are not enough teachers in the schools. But there are very many graduate teachers outside here who do not have jobs. So what exactly are we saying? We are letting education slide, and if we don't deal with it right now, it's going to affect us. Right. There has been an issue, one last thing. There has been an issue about domiciling of junior secondary schools in senior secondary schools. It's an issue that is still under discussion, but they've already locked it up to say that watabaki huko primary schools. But isn't it something that we should consider and look at it as a matter affecting education? Because even when the teachers are not mentally stable to handle learners, they won't be able to deliver. And if they don't deliver, it means that they are not working for the students, but they're just suffering in those schools. Right. So we need to start looking at the issues and not looking at who are we favoring or who are we not favoring. And
thank you so much, Synthia, for enumerating the challenges in the education sector, because I don't think any other person would be able to do that. But